What's up guys, Jean here, back with episode 3 of the app review series where I go ahead and take a look at some of the apps in the App Store and give you guys some of my thoughts on them. Today we're going to be looking at IFTT, aka If This Then That. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so IFTT, If This Then That, was created by the IFTT team. So I'm going to pop right here whatever I see on my screen on my iPhone, so you guys will see that. So if you take a look at it in the App Store, it basically says that it can get your devices to talk with one another. So it can make your smart devices even smarter, if that's even a thing. But basically some of the things that I have been using it for are just to sync the information between certain platforms, cross-platform, so that it makes things more useful rather than just being on one certain device. Like for example, one of the things that I had done when I had a Fitbit was that I had my Fitbit data sync across to Google Sheets so that I could plot and chart and keep track of them through there, instead of having to go through the Fitbit app all the time. So if we look at the second thing, is that it can put your social media to work for you. So I've seen that once you post something on some social media platform, you can also have your information be saved to like Dropbox or any other thing. And basically all of these different apps that they've created are things that you can use to create your own if this then that command. So there are pre-made ones that are already done for you, but there are ones that you can create by yourself. If we go ahead and jump into the If This Then That app, you can see that they have it sorted in a pretty unique way. You can see that there's applets for photography, applets for the Internet of Things, applets for activism, applets for the weather, and educators, and just a whole bunch of other applet collections. So they've tried to organize it in a way that it makes it easier for you to go ahead and search through to see which ones you want to start exploring and using, and also which ones could give you an idea on the ones you want to create. So I can go ahead and show you guys what some of the ones that I'm currently using. So if you go ahead and go to the last tab that says My Applets, you can see that I have toggled on sync all of your new iOS contacts onto a Google spreadsheet. So a lot of the Google Drive options are super useful. There's a couple other ones that I have integrated with like Slack and other things like that, and most of these are the ones that I've created just because I want to be notified about these things, but I don't really want to get it through like email or anything like that where it's sometimes easily forgettable and things like that. So I have it go through Slack, which I've created a channel just to get news updates from IFTT. So that might be a little bit overkill, but that's just what I've done. And there's also a super useful one where it has the Alexa that can call your phone. So if you ask her to find your device, she'll go ahead and find your phone. So if you go to the middle tab, which is the activity tab, you can see what are some of the ones that are on the IFTT app only. Then you can go see to the ones that are everything, as well as some errors, so that you can, possibly decide to get rid of the ones that are causing errors or go ahead and fix them if you want to. One of the pros of the IFTT app is that not only does it allow you to basically make everything else that you have talk with each other, but it also has an online website version that you can go to, and it looks basically exactly the same as the iOS app, but you can expand it. So right here I have pulled up the website version of the IFTT website, and you can see that it's almost exactly the same as the iOS app, where it has applets for news, applets to start with, and all those other things at the top, and then it can show you what are some of the ones that you could possibly use. And it's nice because the layout is exactly the same as the iOS application, so it makes it really easy to use one platform versus the other. So you might find the web one a little bit easier to use because a keyboard for one thing, as well as the fact that you have a larger screen to work with rather than just your phone. Another pro of the IFTT app is the different mediums that you can have your notification on. So you don't necessarily have to get an email sent or a Slack notification or just an IFTT or a text message or anything like that. You can have it perform an action on something else. So a popular one that I've seen in the Discover tab is, say, once you get home, you want your lights to turn on. So you can tie your Philips Hue or whatever smart light you may have to automatically turn on once you reach home. So it saves you from having to stumble in the dark to try and find the light switch. Alright, so right now I'm going to be showing you guys how you can go ahead and create your own IFTT command. And basically in order to do that, you just have to go to the My Applets tab on the bottom right hand corner. Then you go to the plus sign in the upper right hand corner, and it prompts you with this screen that just says if this then that, which is basically what the app is meant for. So we're going to go ahead and click on that plus sign next to the this, and it can show you all of the trigger services that are compatible with the app. So you can go through them and you can see that there are a lot that they offer. You can search through them at the top on the search bar, but there's date and time, Amazon Alexa, and there's just a whole bunch of things that are integrated with the IFTT service. And they're constantly adding new ones, which is a great thing to see because it's just always nice being able to see that one thing that you're using within your house can talk to another thing. Like your Alexa can talk to your phone, otherwise it doesn't really have that functionality to call and locate your phone if you've lost it. But now would be a great time to go over some of the cons of the app. So some of the cons is that you can't use anything that's outside of the triggers supplied in that list on the this section. So you're stuck with those, but they are constantly adding new ones, as I had mentioned, which is nice. And another con is that some of the triggers that you are allowed to choose from aren't really that useful, I guess you could say. So if you wanted to do certain things that aren't in that drop-down menu of items to choose from for that trigger, then you can't really go ahead and create your own. It's only whatever that platform has already supplied within that list of drop-down options. Now on to the pros of this app, and you can see that there are a lot of different triggers that you can create, as well as different actions that can take place. So if you could think of the different permutations, it's probably millions of different permutations that you can create using these actions. So if you can't find an action that works for you based off of the ones that people may have already created, because you can see the different number of people that are using an action, so maybe you want to search through and find which ones are mainly popularly used. So that might be a good way to know which ones to use. So if you go ahead and go through the Discover tab, you can see that it shows that for get an email when a new Google Assistant applet is published, you can see that it says 45,000 people are using it, and you can see what are the two services it works with. So if you don't want it to work for only those two services, you can go ahead and create your own for a different service like Slack or something like that. Another pro is that it tells you some stats about that applet. So it can show you when it ran last, as well as how many times it's run and when you created it, if it's something that you created. So it's super easy to go ahead and toggle something off too. All you have to do is slide that bar, and you can see that I've already toggled this off. Then just to slide it back the other way is just how you toggle it on. So it's super easy to use, it's intuitive, and there's just so many different functionalities that can go with this app. You can feel free to delete any of the applets at any time if you find them no longer useful, or if you no longer use a certain item anymore. So I don't really use my Fitbit anymore, so I decided to go ahead and get rid of those applets because I found it useless if it was trying to sync my daily logs into the Google spreadsheet when I no longer really kept track of those anymore. Thank you guys so much for watching my review on the IFTT. I hope you guys found it useful. If you did, go ahead and smash that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for further content. If there is an app that you would like reviewed in the App Store, go ahead and drop it in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to check it out in a further video. If you haven't checked out any of my other 2 videos on app reviews, I did Scannable as well as Purify versus Adblock, which I'll go ahead and leave those in the description down below. Till then, see you guys next time.